we are today making brown sugar crusted ribeye. We're going to serve that with a lobster risotto, and we put a little Bandera butter on the ribeye when we cook it down. So a little compote butter. But what we're going to do is we're going to take 5 tomatoes and we're going to de-seed, and we're going to cut these up in some little bit thinner julienne strips. And the seeds get mushy. We're just looking for the meat and that skin. We're going to take our tomatoes here. We're going to put in a little bit of olive oil here. Just coat it nicely. Fresh thyme. Fresh thyme is one of my favorites. We're going to put a little kosher salt on top. Then we're going to mix that around. We're going to lay them out nice and even on that sheet tray. Spread them out nice and thin. And what we're going to do, we're going to place those in the oven, about 275. And after about a half hour, you're going to want to pull these out of the oven. Oh, they look good. You're going to be tempted to taste one. It's okay. Chewy flavor, very nice, but be careful, you don't want to eat them all. Okay, those are our base there. We're going to take 2 or 3 limes. We're going to juice those. Put some lime zest on here. There we have it. So we're going to put our lime juice, our lime zest, our oven-dried tomatoes. We're going to use a ½ pound of butter. Push that in there. Let that soften a little bit. We're going to take some fresh garlic, about a tablespoon of garlic, a couple ounces of fresh chopped cilantro, and a little bit of salt, and a little bit of pepper. And then I'm just going to start to push that all together. But we'll take this compote butter, we'll set this aside. We'll put it right here. And we'll save this for later. We have our ribeye steaks. We're going to get these nice and ready. What we're going to do is we're going to first hit them with a little bit of salt. Then we're going to hit with some crushed ground pepper. Kind of work it into the meat a little bit. The way it'll stick a little bit better. Now we're going to take a nice, generous handful of brown sugar. Molasses just complements the beef, just adds to that juice and that flavor. While those ribeyes are resting, we're going to get started on that risotto, that lobster risotto. It takes a little bit longer, but we'll get the process started and then get those steaks on about halfway through. We're going to start off by sauteing off some onions. Get a little olive oil going in there. And we're going to saute those off until they start to soften up. And that's going to be, about 5 minutes at medium to medium-high heat. We're going to add our arborio rice, okay? We have about 2½ cups. We're going to slide that in nice and dry, and we're going to give that a nice even coat. So now that we have that nice and coated, we're going to take some white wine, about a ½ cup, 1/3 of a cup, put that on top there, kind of incorporate that white wine in. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take about half of our chicken stock. We make our chicken stock from the bones of the bird, and basically we're going to pour in half of our chicken stock at a time. Now our chicken stock is a little bit thicker than you would get from the store, and we're going to just let that reduce down probably for about 5 minutes. We'll just keep adding a couple ounces of stock at a time and concentrating down that flavor a little bit. So we've been incorporating that chicken stock into our risotto over about the last 20-25 minutes, letting that reduce down, adding a couple ounces at a time. Now, most of the liquid is worked into it, and before we eliminate all of it, I think we're going to add in our Parmesan cheese, okay? That's also going to add some saltiness to it as well, that Parmesan cheese. So we just take note of that when we're seasoning. We taste it first, and before we would add more salt to the mixture. We have some sauteed mushrooms that we did up a little bit earlier. We're going to throw those in there. And then we have the last piece of the puzzle. We have some uncooked lobster. This is Logostino lobster. And we're going to throw that in there. And that's going to start to cook down. The reason why we put the lobster in last is because it cooks so quick. And we don't want to overcook that lobster. Well, that risotto's just perfect. We're going to let that rest for a minute and get these ribeyes going. They've been sitting for about 20-25 minutes. Nice. Rotate. Make sure we don't burn it. Boom. And the nice thing with that molasses and that sugar, you're getting some real good crusting going on there and caramelization. Well, those steaks are just about done. I think that's about a medium there. We're going to pull these aside for a moment. All right, we're going to plate up our lobster risotto here. Place that like that. And then we have our Bandera butter here. We're just going to take that, put it right up on top, let that start to melt down a little bit, a little extra flavor. And there you have it, brown sugar crusted ribeye with our lobster risotto.